Hey, what is up, guys? This is you here from Unbox Yourself. I can't do this. I can't do this. Hi, my name is Jeet Sutaria and I found a new concept which was mentored by Tony Robbins. He gave us 4 boxes to unbox ourselves, and these are: the first is potential, the second is action, the third is result, and the fourth is attitude. Keep in mind, all these are a cycle and all these are interconnected between each of them. Now let's break all the 4 boxes into different sections. The first is potential. We have a good example for you. Take a look at it.
And where do you live?
My name is Conor McGregor and I live in Lucan.
And what's your status, or what's your professionalism?
I'm a professional MMA fighter with a record of 4-1. I'm an up-and-coming fighter, and without a doubt you will see me on the UFC in the near future, without a doubt.
How long have you been fighting?
Well, I've been boxing pretty much all my life. I started MMA around 2 or 3 years ago, and about 2 years ago I'd say, and I instantly had a knack for it, and I really loved it. It's like an addiction for me. It's all I do. I train twice a day. It's all I think about. I don't want to do anything else. It's as simple as that.
The second box which Tony Robbins mentioned was action. And we also have a good example of action. You can take a look at that.
What keeps people from making a decision? Fear of failure. I remember I had a chance to get to know General Norman Schwarzkopf during the time in which he was commanding our forces, an amazing man. And he would step over there in Desert Storm, as they called it in those days, and he could command a guy that was just brilliant. You know, an officer who came out of, Harvard or background at Princeton, and he could take a kid from the inner city and just have that same command and connection with them. And I think part of what they respected about him is he respected everyone himself. He had this connection with people. But the other thing everybody respected was the man was decisive. And I asked him where he developed that decision-making capability, just the willingness to just make a decision and trust. And he said, Tony, I'll tell you where. I worked for this general when I was very young, and I was his assistant. And he said, I remember there was a research project that the Pentagon had worked on for that time. He said, if I remember right, like 5 years. And there were arguments. It was a very strategic decision for where the Defense Department was going to move towards in the future, how they were going to operate. And he said there were arguments for both sides. And for 5 years, they'd gone back and forth, and nothing was resolved. And they came to the general that he was serving at that time as the assistant. And they had a meeting, and the meeting lasted 1 hour. And at the end of the hour, the general stood up and said, do that. And he picked one of the two, and he did it with absolute certainty. And in the military, you salute, and you take your orders, and you go. He said, but Schwarzkopf said he was just curious, really curious, to know, how could he get up and make a decision like that? Because Schwarzkopf said, I was the one doing all the research, and there was loads and loads of research, and I know he hadn't read it all. And he said, it bothered me that he'd just make a decision like that without knowing everything he could possibly know. And so he said, Schwarzkopf said, I finally went to him and said, sir, permission to express myself freely. He said, permission granted. He said, sir, how could you make that decision? He said, there are reams and reams and reams of information. You had a 1 hour meeting, you heard 20 minutes of discussion for both sides, and you decided the entire direction where things are going to go for the armed services, for this part of the armed services. And he said, how could you possibly do that? You don't have all the information. He said, no one does. In fact, information is important to an extent, but ultimately action is what needs to be taken, and someone needs to decide. He goes, well, how do you know you made the right decision? He said, no one has made a decision, young man, in 5 years and half a decade. What I decided will be right, because either we'll put all our resources and we'll make it right, or if it's wrong, we'll discover that quicker than sitting on the fence for another 5 years, and we'll find out it's not right, and we'll change. Leadership is making decisions. If you're going to lead your own life, you got to make decisions. And what Schwarzkopf said is he realized Rule number one in life is when put in charge, when put in command, take charge.
The third is result. Also, we have a good example for that.
Past, but advance the theory of the Jordan theory here that when there's a game on the line, and I think the coach, Paul Westphal, just said, you inflicted your will on the game, that when you want to win a game badly enough, the other team can't beat you and your team.
It's simply a continuation of something that I started a long time ago. One day you might look up and see me playing the game at 50. Oh, don't laugh. Don't. Never say never. Because limits, like fears, are often just an illusion. Thank you very much. Look forward to it.
Now the fourth box mentioned by Tony Robbins is attitude. And for me, attitude is the most important thing any person can have. Attitude simply means a perspective, a way of looking at things. How you respond to things, how you respond to the results which you have got is what is perspective or attitude. To summarize all these four boxes, you can go as you have potential, then you take action on the potential, then you get a result on it. Now depending on the result is bad, you get a wrong perspective of a potential. Now as I said in the earlier part of the video, all these are interconnected and all these are a cycle. Entire thing goes down, 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 and it is a spiral. So while if we look at it from another perspective, we see that we have potential to do something, we take action on it, we get good results, and then our attitude or our perspective change differently. We think more that we have more potential to do something and or not to do something. Now that we have summarized all these four boxes, how do you think this will improve our lives? And another question also applies to this same rule. Why are successful people always successful and why are the people who fail continuously fail? Like explained in the previous part of the video, the spiral goes down, and on the other side of the story, the spiral can go upside. The same way, successful people keep on going on the ladder of success, while the people who fail keep on falling in the well of failure. So how do we prevent that from happening? Just like Tony Robbins said, it is all dependent on one single box, which is the fourth box of our entire cycle, which is the attitude box. Now, how is our attitude gonna decide if you are gonna be successful or if you are gonna go on the well of failure? It is simple. Successful people know what they want and they go towards getting that thing, beat any situation. If they have failed, they don't dwell upon that they have failed and they can't do it. They take it as a challenge and they work on it. So my next question is, we are all humans. We all have different emotions in us. During the time of failure, we also get anxieties. We also are feared about the result and what not we face during the time of failure. So how do we overcome this bad or ill emotion that we have in us? So there is an immensely powerful tool or a solution to this problem. The tool is known as the power of visualization.
If you can create an idea, if you can see something in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. And I don't care whether you're 80 or 18. It makes no difference.
You can feel the power of visualization yourself by doing only one exercise, just right now. I think I won't be able to do it justice by explaining it to you. So why not the man himself, Tony Robbins, shall explain you.
So I'll show you a little stupid little physical technique for this. So stand up for a second. You guys gonna do this with the camera show? So try this for a second. So just put your feet together and then put your right index finger straight out in front of you like this, okay? And all I want you to do is I want you to just turn clockwise comfortably as far as you normally turn. Just notice where you naturally stop. Go ahead and turn clockwise. People at home can do this too. Keep your feet straight. Notice where you stop. Come back around to me. Back around to me. Pretty good. Okay, good. Yeah, you're really good at this, right? Drop your hand. Now let's do something really simple. Close your eyes And you don't even have to visualize, just feel. I want you to imagine your finger coming back up again. And this time, see and feel it coming up. Don't actually make it happen, but feel like it's happening. Imagine in your mind that you're actually doing it. You're seeing it, you're feeling it. And then make it like a game where you turn twice as far this time. Like you're a little kid, you know, somebody measures you and you go, I'm taller, come on, measure me this week. That desire to do a little further. And then in your mind, do it again. Your feet are straight together, and in your mind, feel your finger coming up, see it coming up, and imagine going 3 times as far this time. And then one more time, bring your finger up, and you're like an owl. Your feet are straight, and you turn all the way around, and it comes all the way around to the front. See it and feel it and enjoy it each time like it's a game, like you can't wait to go further. And you know you do, every time. And then when you can feel that, and it feels good, then open your eyes, and now put your finger straight in front of you, and turn as far as you can comfortably and see what happens this time. Go.
Break my back.
Now notice, I don't know if the camera's got it, but you don't even have to ask the camera. You can ask yourselves. Come back around. Did you go further this time, yes or no?
A lot further.
A lot further.
50% further.
50% further. How much further for you?
About the same.
Yeah. The average person will go 25% further. Now here's the question.
We're superior. We're superior pointers.
There you go.
You know, your right finger pointer.
Thank God. So, did you have the potential to turn as far as you did the second time, the first time?
Yes.
Why didn't you?
I didn't believe it, I guess.
We have beliefs about stuff we don't even know we have beliefs. You have an unconscious belief about how far you can turn comfortably.
The first time I did it, when I pointed straight back,
Yeah.
I thought I probably shouldn't even go that far, like it was going to hurt me or that
Yeah.
I wasn't capable of going any farther. It's like,
And how much further did you go this time? And the camera knows
pointed over there,
That's
about over
exactly
there.
right. Now here's the difference. The potential was there the first time, and you took action, and you got a result. But it was 50% less than what you did later on. And the only difference is I changed your belief. How did I change your belief? We didn't work harder on your potential. We didn't take more action. I got you to see the result in advance. I got to see it vividly 2 or 3 times. That's all. Of going further, and then your brain went, oh, I know what to do. Boom, it went there. Isn't that what you did by looking at your cars every single day and envisioning it? I mean, isn't that what you did when you created whatever the vision was? It was $300, $2,500, $1 million in a day? Yeah, that's what's missing for these people. They're not getting that execution is everything, but it doesn't happen if you don't get the psychology set of a state of total certainty. And you just change that 50% in 3 minutes worth of visualization. So I want you to get, you ask the question, what is that difference in people? This changes people's certainty. People are uncertain they're going to succeed. They want it, but they're afraid. The best way to deal with a fear is get a big enough reason that makes you have to succeed, or condition yourself where you see it and feel it so often that you're certain that you just do it. That's all it really takes.
This is the power of our mind. We ourselves have created mental barriers, and because of that, we cannot move forward in our lives.